All right, everybody, welcome back to the after show for episode number 49. Our interview with Mr. Preach himself. There he is.
Hi.
There he is. There he is. So we're going to aim for about 15 to 20 minutes because we had a really long show. We went about 10-ish minutes over the main show, so let's not keep you guys here too long.
And I saw a question in chat about how to ask questions. You guys' chat is so excitable today, and it's great. Right. And I love all of the support that we've got. But it is moving really fast, and I am going to miss your questions if you just ask them in chat. So just go to at FinalBossTV on Twitter and tweet your questions there, or submit them at Ask a Boss or on Facebook or just anywhere that's not chat, basically, because I'm going to miss them.
Yeah. And again, if you guys are wondering about where you want to send contact information, if you want to be part of the War Crimes as an animator or a voice actor or whatever, just go to the website and click the little email button. Everything you need to know about about us, all our social media and stuff is on the website. So just click the email button. It's finalbosswow@gmail.com.
Ooh, there's a good question. Frost91 asks, where do you find the music for this channel? I was grooving so hard during the break. And I know that our guests were admiring it as well, so tell everyone.
Well, the music that I'm going to play right now is available to somebody, but the music that was played during the background there is not available for, like, just open. The music that you just heard is by my buddy Mike, a.k.a. Divinix. He's an up-and-coming genius, I guess I would say. Who you'd say, rather. He made all the music proprietary for us, so the music you hear then is for us only. The music I usually play during the after show now is actually by another amazing person, which I will link as well, which you can see all of his music is on his website, by Morgan David King. We also have music that we will be playing eventually from Ben Briggs, also really good, and some stuff from Monster Cat in the future here. But the music you actually hear during that break is not online anywhere. It's only for us. So if you want to hear it, you got to be over the show.
Well, that's good. Yeah, come back to the show every week. You guys can hear that music all the time.
Just to hear, yeah. Yeah.
So I don't really have any questions, though, that I've seen yet on the Twitter, but that's probably because I'm not checking the correct one.
Well, I'm checking right now. I've seen... I'm gonna go back down to the beginning of the show, and because we had a lot as it came in. So kind of have you tested Brewmaster Monks yet, Preach?
Certainly have.
How do they feel?
They felt fine. I felt mixed feelings about Chi Explosion. It's very, very powerful.
Little bit.
You need the 4 Chi, and that kind of messed with my shuffle a little bit. I was also playing with the Disc Priest, which it seems really weak. So I wasn't as relaxed and testing the classes as much as trying to keep myself alive. I used a lot of roll, so there's a lot of diving all over the place to stay alive.
Now,
but it feels pretty similar.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go.
I was wondering, what kind of testing are you doing on the alpha, or I suppose that's the beta now? Because a lot of people that we speak to are doing different types of testing. Like, some of them are questing, some of them are target dummy theory crafting, some of them are just running dungeon after dungeon after dungeon. So what kind of stuff are you doing?
I don't know, Preach, have you run any dungeons?
Yeah.
Seems like that's what you've been doing.
Every class and spec, and I leveled them all twice because they wiped the server, which
oh no.
So I've done the first zones 22 times now. Which is a thing. That's happened. And I haven't got bored of them, though, so props to that. I really genuinely haven't been bored doing the zones that many times. But really, dungeons and questing and stuff like that. I don't like the theory crafting at dummies too much. It's never really interested me to stand there and do that. I like to get into an actual situation and see how the class plays and how it feels. That's what I prefer. I
see. How do you feel about UBRS?
Well, there's one boss in there which everybody was laughing at. There was one particular boss in there, the 4th boss, I want to say, that you need to see once before you kill it, really, unless you've got somebody there who fully explains it. It's fine if somebody's... But we got into the dungeons, I think, probably 20 minutes after they came up. We were in there, so we were the first people in there. And every time one of the servers crashed, all those people would leave your group. So, and then currently the dungeon finder doesn't replace people. So what we had was, that was our first wipe. We'd get there and see, oh, how does this thing work? Learning about the fight, because I never checked the dungeon journal. And we were like, okay, we've got a grasp on this. Get back in, and then half the group would disappear, and you had to start the entire dungeon again. It would then happen again. And then on the 3rd time we tried to get to the dragon, we had a guy who the healer, he died within seconds on every fight. And well, it was a mystery. It was a straight mystery what was happening to this guy, and we never made it to it, so I got trolled pretty hard in UBRS. But it's a wonderful, wonderful dungeon.
I see.
Looks pretty good. And it's only the Only the new version is the new stuff. If you go to it and you're under level 100, it's the old version, right? Still, I think. I don't know if we've tested that or not yet. It should be, because that would be weird if
you can do the old one. I think the Fat Boss guys went and checked. The old one is still there for leveling.
That should be.
But it's a mix of shattered halls, and you know the ending of it is spectacular. Again, it's a word I've used a lot, but it's actually quite subtle how they designed it. It's very much old UBRS, and then it breaks into the last boss, and you go, wow. This is new, and it's really cool. And I looked at the setup they had for the last boss, and I thought, I've been in this room before. I kind of know what's going to happen here. And it is the same boss with a little twist, so it was really cool.
Checking up chat room real quick here. I just typed it, but I was going to say, if those of you that actually watch the live stream of the show, I do something kind of interesting when someone subscribes. So if you did during the show today, you guys are amazing, and you're super cute. But remind me on the live stream if you're new, and I'll play you a song. I'll play you a song, and if you know what it is, you'll know what it is.
It's pretty epic. You should go witness it.
I mean, I'm not gonna play it though, but it's right here. But do you know what an automaton is, Preach?
No.
You don't. Well then,
sounds like an auto tune.
There's a video on our YouTube that you can check if you guys don't know what it is. It's Alpha Boss number 4. It's called the automaton. If you guys want to know what the hell that is, so. Let's see. Have you changed your mind about what class you'll play? I guess
during the show? No.
Yeah, not during the show. No.
Not during the show. No.
We got the thumbnail for the FinalBossTV live stream. Oh gosh, I just retweeted that. It's pretty funny. Why is Ghost such a dish face?
I feel bad for that girl. If anyone wants to know the dish face thing, we had a drama story submitted by a girl who got called a dish face at one minor part of the story, and we made such a thing out of it. She's forever known by a guild as a dish face.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I kind of feel bad, but not really.
Kind of, but
yeah.
not.
But she was okay that she emailed me. She's like, thanks, but it's kind of funny. So.
Do you believe, Get Equipped tweeted, do you believe Warlords of Draenor will take care of the player apathy problem that you exposed throughout your experiment?
Judging by the current state of the 5-mans, that will help tremendously. There's more mechanics on the trash in the 5-mans than there is in a lot of the Nissa Pandaria 5-mans, which is fantastic.
Nice.
If you know to look for it, especially from enrages to multiple different types of dispels, to things to be interrupted, but you have to prioritize that now. It's not enough just to interrupt. Some of the mobs have 3 or 4 different casts, and you've got to be a little bit choosy, otherwise you can end up in a mess. And so really, yes, but we haven't tested any sort of raid content yet, so I can't speak on that.
Correct. Is it Circuit Secret? It's spelt all funny. Is there any type of video you would love to make if time and resources were not an issue?
Ooh, that's a good
yes,
one.
But I
would like to make Warcraft without time and money as an issue, but you know, you don't want to spoil it.
Not really. I've written it. I've written it, and my favorite thing isn't actually producing the smaller things; it's the bigger videos we do.
Right.
And we've got better at those, and I've written a rather large thing.
Did you tell me about this before? You're not gonna spoil it now.
Most people in the chat will know what it is, but I'm not revealing anything about it.
Sure, of course. Ooh, okay. Let's check some more here. What do you want to see happen to Garrosh in Warlords, and why? Glorious ending or execution?
I'm not a lore guy, and I know it's a get out of jail free answer, but I don't care. Really.
Noble would have an answer for you.
Yeah, Noble would have an answer
only
for you.
if perhaps he's a raid boss.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the general consensus is going to redeem himself like his father at the end, even though he's done so many more awful things than his dad ever did, ever. So I don't see... This is a cop-out to me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like the whole new models thing. I've not taken a helmet or looked at the front of my characters in years. I don't... As much as I didn't like the Torn thing, that was the first time I've noticed it since I've leveled 22 times. It's not something... The look of my character doesn't matter.
Right.
I have a question for you. Just a question from me, not from anybody.
Blindsided.
Of all of the videos and the content that you've made, is there one that you would pick out as being one that you are most proud of, or one that is closest to your heart, is something that you really wanted to share with people?
There's always a moment when I make the bigger videos that people might be disappointed in it because they've got better and better every time we've done it.
Right.
But there was one in particular that contained, I think it might even be the vanilla retrospective. I couldn't tell you the name of it if I'm being completely honest. I'll have a quick look now at my channel. I think it's the top 5 Blizzard troll bosses in WoW. There's a video I made.
I like it.
Like actual like trolls or troll like
no,
like...
the bosses that trolled the players. So you had things like
so the troll face bosses. Okay.
An example like Baron Geddon, where you could, I'm sure if you played vanilla, you probably did this, is you could whisper people outside of the raid, you are the bomb, and you could cause all the raids to go into a kerfuffle, and, you know, it was such an incredibly easy boss that had so much opportunities to just drive people crazy with that. Yeah. And I love those kind of bosses where it's, I mean, I did that to people because I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, someone didn't hear when you were talking about which top guild you were a part of. You were Method twice before.
Very briefly. It's not it's not like I'm a Method player or anything like that. No. I was there very briefly during the end of Ulduar. I joined as they were working on Alone in the Darkness, so I was asked to reroll a Warlock because Stars had just killed it, and they used 8 Warlocks, I think it was. And so I rolled a Warlock for them then, and then when I came back later on, I was a Warlock again, which is my most hated raid class, but I had to play a Warlock twice for Method, which was pretty funny. Just the irony that that's how it worked out.
I've got another one for you while Bay's gathering them.
Sure, I'm just reading through Twitter.
Yeah, sure. The question that I ask everybody, and since you have such a long raiding history, you've got a lot to draw on here. I'd like to know what your favorite boss was, your favorite raid encounter.
Kael'thas Sunstrider was a masterpiece, and I will never ever. I don't think we'll ever meet a boss that was, for me, that was so well designed. Lady Vash was probably close.
I like that answer.
In some way, but I think Kael'thas was almost a work of art in terms of raid design.
I'm an Illidan fan girl myself, but...
Well, it's off-tank there. I was an off-tank during the Illidan, so I didn't really enjoy it because I had to wear fire resist. I tanked the fire thing, and then I just paid the rest of the fight.
You were the hero, fantastic. Though. That's that.
Oh, yeah.
That
it was
sacrifice.
Actually, I got promoted in that guild. It was my first ever raid, and I'd never done that. And I did it first time, and they promoted me straight away, and I was so proud of myself. And then the next time, I screwed it up completely. I just got lucky the first time. That'll do. I already got promoted, so I could get stuff.
What are your thoughts? There you go. What are your thoughts on things like the Brawlers Guild and Proving Grounds for players who develop their personal skills?
Brawlers Guild, I think, was a fantastic addition to the game, especially because people have a real fear of being watched. But it gave the opportunity for people to watch other people. Spectator mode is a fantastic thing. I'd love to see that in WoW, especially for raids. I mean, we have streaming now, so it's kind of similar. But it's different in-game. There's different in-game that you can maybe even pick and choose the player you're watching or do any of those kind of things. Brawlers Guild I thought was really cool. I enjoyed watching it a lot. I used to AFK there if I was waiting to do an LFR for some guide or whatever. I'd go and chill and watch the Brawlers Guild. The Proving Grounds, a nice idea. Let's hope it sees iteration so it's a bit better. I don't think there was enough effort on there to make it a real solid piece of content. But it's a good idea.
I mean, it's definitely coming back in Warlords. We'll see how what helps it right now, because right now I guess the healing one is just like awful. I mean, it's good and bad, I guess, at the same time. I guess the tanking one is super easy for, like, really good tanks, so I don't know what
if you're a good player, they were a waste of time, but they weren't designed for you. It's one of those age-old things where I see a lot of heroic players say, oh, this boss is scrub mode. It's like, this content isn't designed for you. The Proving Grounds are not designed for people who can, you know... if you're clearing the heroic content, you not really need to be in the Proving Grounds. It's not what it's there for.
Right.
But it's cool that they recognize the problem.
Considering the number of people on the forums who are complaining that they couldn't complete Silver because the classes and specs were mistuned for Proving Grounds.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who could not get through even Silver in Proving Grounds, even as they are right now.
Well, they should be class specific. There's no doubt about that. They should be class specific. There are certainly some classes that struggle more than others.
Right.
I've done some private videos because it's not something I like to put on my channel, but I get a lot of requests. Like, I've tried thousands of times or something to get gold. And I can do it in 20 minutes. It's no problem for me. So I've filmed it and done a mini 3-minute video. I was like, this is how I do it, and talked over it. But it's not something for my channel, and then just whispered it to people so they can get it done.
Nicholas, this is Hollow Preach, Bay and Anna. Preach, you must be wondering, has Bay and Anna done Sunwell?
I have done Sunwell at 70, and there are the videos to prove it. Well, at now 70.
Evidence
at like LOL joke 70 with the team of
after the nerf,
nerf? No, she's talking about right now.
I played in an EXP locked guild, and we took
so you have like modern day talents and stuff,
right?
Yeah, but we didn't fill the raid up. I think we 10-manned Black Temple and the most of it. It was actually a lot of fun. I thought it was cool. It was a a joke, a lot of it, but it was still like some of the mechanics were half intact. I thought it was cute.
You know, I rated someone when it was real, and I actually killed Muru twice before the big nerf to Muru, and then our guild fell apart.
Most overrated boss in history? Hype.
So then I killed Jade, and I transferred guilds to Impervious on the US side of oh god, what are they on? Storm Rage? Or no, Storm Reaver, something like that. I don't remember what server they were on, but yes, I did. And I did Resto for my Kill Jaden kills. So way back in the day.
Way back in the day. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't count as True Sunwell. I make no claims that it counts as True Sunwell.
It doesn't mean a whole lot.
It was still fun.
It had good points and bad points. Absolutely.
Yeah. I thought Muru was an absolute joke.
Which was the fog boss on the ground? Felmist? Felmist. Doing Felmist was a lot of fun.
Mind control, up, down.
Mind control.
The people who knew, there were people in the raid who knew what the patterns were, what the dragon's flying patterns were, and I was, you know, it took like once or twice to see it, and then once you figure out where all of the fog is on the ground, I'm like, really? People failed at this back in the day?
Apparently Elixir was seriously hard. He used to go diagonal. People could not get that into their heads in vanilla. It was a really difficult mechanic. He would start in a corner and go to the opposite corner. That was the whole mechanic of deep breath. Incredibly difficult.
What about Brewmaster Monks from Droyare? Do you think them feel weak? Guard, base absorb seems absurdly low. Let's get scales with resolve though.
Yeah, scales with resolve. You can't really say that.
Yeah, we have no idea.
But like I said, the only time I've played it was with a particularly weak healer, so I didn't feel comfortable enough to go, okay, let's try this, try that. So I don't want to comment on it yet. Brewmaster and tanking is stuff I'll be doing during the week, really. I don't like putting out... I don't do rush opinions. I don't like it.
We had someone make a Twitter just for us. It ruins me. That's awesome. Oh, that's amazing. I had some questions.
I have a good question from Nakaris in chat here from Serious Casual. He says, what are your thoughts on YouTubers transitioning fully to Twitch and Twitch's future?
It's such a different medium. But,
it is.
It depends on who you are and your personality. There's a lot of things about streaming I think people get wrong. Like, I'm going to do a 24-hour live stream. There's very few people who could pull that off. Very few people. Because yeah, I mean, I could do 7 hours, no problem. I'll keep my energy nice and high and make a show. But after 10 hours or something, which I've done in the past, I'm feeling tired. And people come in and I'm feeling tired because you're trying to keep... You can see how fast the chat goes when there's there's a lot of fans and stuff there.
Right, exactly.
People who want to see you. And I have to read every single one because I believe it's not about watching me playing the game. It's about putting on a show. It's why I don't stream my raids. YouTube is... They're totally different. YouTube is a produced video. If you're just uploading stream content to YouTube or whatever, then, that's not how I agree with it, but I'm not the decision maker or anything like that. I like making produced content where I can think about what I'm doing and, put out a nice piece of content that's edited, have some work done on it. Streaming is totally different. Totally different. About transitioning, it could be, I don't know, Twitch is so hard to break into. It's almost impossible to get discovered on Twitch unless you have some sort of gimmicky niche thing like Pokemon. The Pokemon thing just came out of nowhere and everyone was all over it. But if you look in a WoW channel, if we look now, how many people are in the WoW channel right now? It took me, I'm full-time now and we're looking to take 2 people on soon. But it took me a year and a half to get to a stage where I could pay the bills doing this. If that's what you're looking to do, you should just do it for fun, nothing else.
That's I'm gonna harken back to which Preach and I agree on. One of the best streamers I think on Twitch is Lethal Frag, who I've been watching for over 2 years now.
Absolutely.
His thing is if you're going to stream for fun. It's different. Absolutely. Like when I came on to stream, I've been streaming for 2 years before I even became this show. Like before FinalBoss even existed, I was a 2-year live streamer. I streamed with my friends and have fun. Like I had a little group of people that eventually would follow me. But attacking content the way that we did is different because we made a show. But if you're a YouTuber transitioning and just doing stuff on Twitch, it depends because everyone is different. It depends what the kind of content you make, and the content people can compartmentalize and package for you on their YouTube is totally different than them on a live stream because it's a totally different atmosphere and environment and everything, and how to be entertaining and interactive. If you are, some streamers don't talk to their chat rooms at all. But
yeah, and then at that point, you're just watching someone play, and the only people going to watch is people very specifically interested in you.
Correct.
I always tell people, it's like, I'm going to make... I was talking to... I can't remember his name now, which is really rude. I was talking to a fire mage in one of the top guilds who was asking me tips, and he's going to make very high-end guides and stuff. I said, yeah, that's cool, man. But then he instantly started asking me about money. And I said, you can't do it that way. You can't do this thing for money. You're not going to get anywhere doing that. You can't think that I'm going to go in there. A lot of Twitch streamers, the first thing they ask me is, how do I set up a donation button? I'm like, dude, you're getting it all wrong. It's not going to work that way. That you're after sort of cheap cash in. It's not going to work that way. And you can't just make Fire Mage videos. You know what I mean? How niche is that in the audience of WoW who just wants to see Fire Mage stuff? It's not going to work. You can't do it that way. So you have to take, the good. Twitch is a wonderful place. I enjoy it, but I always tell my audience, streaming is a day off for me. YouTube is my job. I spend all day preparing content to put it out there, and then hopefully, 100,000 people or 30,000 or 20,000 will watch it. When I go to Twitch, that's a day off for me, and I enjoy it, and I have a blast doing it. But full time, I don't know. It's a hard game, and plus, you've got to be there every single day. You do, and I think a lot of people don't understand how much it actually takes out of you. Like doing the show right now, actually, I mean, this is like my whole Sunday, basically. Like, it's a job. Like, there's so much prep before this and after it and during the live stream. If you're just playing a video game by yourself and the lights are off and you're in your boxers, you're just kind of chilling, you can play a game for hours. But if you're playing a game and live streaming it, it is taxing. And people don't know what it is. Oh, you okay, Anna? Don't know what it is until, until you actually, like, do it. Too much coffee? Too much coffee?
Yeah, sorry. That's why I muted Skype.
No, you're good. You're good. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just saw you. I was making sure. Okay. I had that for 2 weeks the last one. So I think it's interesting. Because with YouTube, you can take time and do whatever you want. If you're doing a Let's Play YouTuber, you're by yourself still. So, yeah, I always stream games I don't care about. That was my rule. When I did a live stream summer, I chose games particularly I didn't care about. Because I talk to the chat constantly. And if I play a game I really care about, I'm just going to play the game, and I'm just going to ignore everybody. Yeah. So that's not what I think streaming's about. But everything works for different people. So,
do you think that? I mean, as a follow-up here, do you think that YouTubers need to move some of their content onto Twitch, or do they occupy completely different niches in the kind of content that people are looking for?
I would say, firstly, some people can do one and not the other. Being able to retake a YouTube video and take it back and say, oh, I messed that up, I can do that again, and then being live is a very different thing because you have to be on the case, and that's why even Drama Friday only lasts an hour. I'm exhausted afterwards. Yep. Because I have to be reading names and reading the chat and keeping up with the flow and reading the story. It's a very, very difficult thing to do and do well, and some people just can't do either. Should you try and get a presence on both? Absolutely. You should try and get a presence on both. So you get the viewer interaction. That's the best thing about Twitch is you speak to the people who watch your stuff. And they give you feedback, especially the guys who come to the stream are generally the nicer guys who support you and want you to do better. And they will give you feedback. Like, this video has taken too long to come out is a big feedback I've had recently on my Burning Crusade video. It's like, it's taking too long now. And I appreciate that from the guys who I trust. And it's, there's a good back and forth there that's very different to YouTube. Like we say, we joked about YouTube comments. If that's where you live your life, you're going to have a bad time. If you're reading those comments, you're going to have a very bad time. Because a lot of the people are lurkers. They just watch your stuff and they never comment. Correct. And I got the sub button recently on Twitch. I saw names pop up in there I have never seen in my life. Yep. And they were saying to me, I've been watching you for a year and a half. And we have that never said anything. And that's the one thing. It's there are. I mean, lurkers are the lifeblood of Twitch streaming because usually the penetration for people that talk in chat is about 10 to 15%. Like, really, that's how it is. It's that small. And because that's just how it is. I mean, I've been a lurker on Lethal Frag channel now for almost 2 years. I was like day 200. I don't talk. I don't talk. I discovered we both watch it and have never seen each other. Yeah, exactly. I generally don't chat in chats at all. Yeah, but there are definitely a lot of streams that I really enjoy watching. I watch Day 9. I don't talk in chat. Yep. So, I mean, and those are two people, I think, if you're ever going to like look at the dedication to Twitch streaming, is how Day 9 did the Day 9 daily outside of 1 day a week for forever now. He's 700 something. And then Lethal Frag did the 2-year live stream challenge, which he has talked about more time. That's the most intense and hardest thing he's ever done in his entire life so far. So, I mean, like, it's a lot. And I think you have to really find, there are good streamers out there that have the personality to do it, and there are great YouTubers, but it doesn't necessarily make both. Sometimes it doesn't work. Very different experience. Yeah. And as a side note, I appreciate everybody who watches Final Boss, even though I talk about the people who chat all the time, because those are the ones I interact with a lot throughout the show. All you guys who don't chat, we love you just as much, and we love your support. So thanks. As Lethal says, Lurker's number one. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, Lurker's number one. Definitely. Lurker's number one. So, a question or two here before we get out of here. We got another minute or two. This comes in from Can Call Shenanigans. Wants to know, how much sturdiness rating do you have, Preach? Why is that stat in the game? Why does it exist? There's a moment, and I was live streaming when I read it because there was a lot of the tertiary stuff I ignored because it seemed to be getting left behind, and then an item dropped that had it on it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I moused over it, and my face on the stream says it all. I was like, "What is this? Why does it exist?"
Yeah.
When we repair, it's like a meeting took place at Blizzard. Just picture this. There's some suits.
This is the picture.
This is the image. Just get it into your minds. It's like they're all stood around. They've got the beards. They've got the glasses for the horde and all that. And some guy sits there and says, "Guys, we've realized that now the big problem in raiding is repair costs, and we never thought about it for 5 years, and that's what the big issue is." And everyone went, "We agree." There's somewhere a decision was made where it's like, we need this in the game. And I just don't know what happened on that day.
How are we going to get people?
PvP.
How are we going to get people excited about loot? We're going to get people excited about loot by removing repair costs.
I don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like
Vanilla,
I think
cared.
sturdiness shouldn't be a tertiary. It should be the extra stance. Like this piece of gear doesn't take any durability damage at all. I think it being like a rating that just reduces the durability your gear takes as a whole is like.
Yeah, indestructible. It used to
indestructible,
be.
Exactly.
That was the original
I thought
design.
that was better. That's just kind of neat. It's just like, oh, cool. It's never gonna break. All right, that's whatever. That's neat. But like, how durable is the gear on your? Like, what? Who cares? I don't. Is gold a thing anymore? Honestly, and you get
it was so baffling.
You get less repair costs being in a guild too.
I don't know.
Less durability. I don't. It's silly.
Someone did tell me that PvP has durability loss now.
Really? About damn time!
But I don't follow anything. As soon as it says, "Okay, here's the PvP notes," I'm like,
I don't care. Whatever.
Sturdiness is going to be the new final boss joke. We need an icon.
Sturdiness icon.
We need an icon for sturdiness.
You can't just take it away from me. I've kept it.
Oh man, it's funny. Are you going to continue your choosing a class series video for Warlords?
That's kind of evolved into the quick looks at the classes and how they stand right now. Because their classes are changing so readily, it's pointless making a 10-20 minute overview. We're just doing sort of 5-minute snippets on, and that seems to be a nice digestible size chunk for what's changed. And then it's changed again next week, so it's kind of evolved into that. I'll look at it when I'm really ready to choose.
Oh, here's a question, another one. Are you staying on Alakir for Warlords? I guess you still don't know what guild you're going to find, right?
I don't have any classes on Alakir, so...
Oh.
The answer is definitely no.
I guess what are the ups and downs of being on a mid-pop realm for you? Is that what you're on right now?
No, both of them are high, I believe.
Oh, okay. Misinformation there. That's fair. And last one, I guess, because this will be... I think I'll preface this with the fact that Blizzard wanted to remove the smart healing from the game or make it less smart, dumb down the smart healing. Yet they added Red Crane Monk as a real thing. So what are your thoughts on Atonement, Disc Priests, and Fist Weaving Monks?
I would really love to see genuine hybrid classes come back, because there are a lot of players who want to play support. And that was a big thing, certainly in Vanilla, is I had various players, like the Shaman, who wanted to heal, but they also wanted to spec, when we could spec into different trees, down to improved Wind Fury, and they wanted to sacrifice certain aspects of one style to buff another. I would love to see that come back in some fashion, because Disc seems in a total mess right now. And they seem to be struggling with what to do with it. The auto-healing thing from DPSing is fine as long as it doesn't do too much. That's the kind of hybrid role. You're contributing DPS and off-healing. I mean, that's fine. That's the basis of it. But I would love to see different things. I would love to see proper support totems return. In fact, I'd just like to say, can we have Wind Fury back? Because it was the best thing in the world. And why he took it away makes me so goddamn sad. There was nothing better than Wind Fury Pox in the melee group. It was just the best. Do
you have any thoughts towards what they could do to fix Warriors, or are you going to wait for the new patch before you
They're so far gone from what we used to. They're such a long way from where I enjoyed them. I'm going to wait. Again, they're so dramatically changing that it's hard to say this will do it, that will do it. I will play it and see how it feels. That's how I start to generate one of my videos, is first, how do I feel about it? And then we can talk about why it feels that way. So until that happens, I can't say. Okay.
I mean, this one came in on like everything, so we'll ask it. Do you think removing Warforging will be a mistake?
Warforging or reforging?
Oh, sorry. I can't. Reforging. Sorry, yeah. It was a glare on my iPad. Sorry. Reforging. You think removing it will be a mistake?
I think that's directly tied, isn't it, to the randomness of gear?
Correct.
One of the messages I've been trying to get out to people who I'm saying certain classes are seem really slow right now. They're like, oh, it won't matter with more gear. Well, it depends. We're kind of trusting Blizzard to make sure that doesn't happen. But what we can't do, especially crit-dependent classes, so if you say like a Fury Warrior or a Fire Mage, you can't just decide anymore to go, hey, I'm all crit because that's what benefits me the most and makes my class more fun. You can't do that anymore. So kind of, at this point, we're just relying on it to work. But I know that reforging was a fix to a problem that doesn't exist anymore. So as a tank in the Sunwell,
that's true.
I had 5 hits. And that was a huge problem. We were gemming hits in the Sunwell because they'd just forgotten to put hit on gear. We had a lot of weapon skill or expertise if they changed it by that point. So the reforging was like, okay, to avoid that problem, you can pick and choose your stats. But we don't have that problem now, so it disappeared. But like, again, what I actually tweeted earlier, the big problem with WoD coverage right now is trying to explain to people that Warlords is such a different world to Mists of Pandaria that you cannot base anything that I'm putting out on how it plays in MOC.
Correct.
Because it's so different. You don't have 8,000 haste compared to everything else. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We need the first tier, basically. We need the first tier for basically live beta, more or less.
Absolutely.
Because even during beta testing its focus with like epic purple shirts and like just testing this boss for a half an hour, this boss for an hour, that won't tell us. We need like months. We need like 2 or 3 months of live beta basically after the game launches to really see. And then of course people ask me, are the devs listening? Which Celestalon was here for the whole main show, so I'm pretty sure they're listening. So I think after tier 17, if things are broke and they want to remove Warforged gear, they'll do it for tier 18, right? They will fix it. All right. They've been more interactive with us than they ever have been before, so they're not gonna like, forget about them.
And those kinds of gear changes are the kinds of things that can happen within an expansion. Like there are some changes that they only want to make between expansions, like the really, really severe changes. But things like what stats are going to be on gear and whether Warforged is a thing, that can be made from tier to tier. Those changes can be made on a much more regular basis. So I guess we'll see.
I think what we're hoping, or what I'm aiming at in my feedback, I'm doing specific feedback videos, is not a repeat of Mists of Pandaria, where we went through the first 6 months where they were changing classes weekly. They were changing so fast because there was no MOP beta proper feedback. And it was a nightmare. There were people quitting the game left and right because they were logging in one day, their class was different the next day, and then a week later it was changed again. You know, how many times were Fire Mages nerfed over the course of Mists of Pandaria? It must have been 4 or 5 times they were retuned.
How many times were Elemental Shaman buffed?
All this crazy stuff needs to be drowned out now. And I get a lot of feedback like, oh, it'll probably work itself out. That's not the point. I'm telling you what the problem is right now. If Blizzard knows it's going to be fine, cool. But I'm just saying this is a problem. Think about it. Or I think it's a problem anyway. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think this feels wrong or it's not playing right.
We will see. There's much testing to still be done, depending on when we're actually the release date. But it's button time, round number 2. Thank you all again very much for watching. This was a whole lot of fun. This was a interesting episode. It had prep before. It wasn't just like an answer episode that we had before with Anna where we just talked for like an hour and a half, but it's good stuff. I think we talked about a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff. So again, our guest today was Mr. Preach of PreachGaming himself. You can go follow him on the Twitters at PreachGaming, and then of course you'll know when he's live streaming and all his other socials will be, of course, in the VOD. And if you don't know about it, you can probably just Google PreachGaming. I'm pretty sure it's not that hard. So. Thank you again, sir. It was an absolute pleasure. It was great.
Thank you very much, Amy. I had a great time.
Yeah, definitely great to talk to you about all the things that you've done. It was a really fun interview. Appreciate you being here.
And then there's Anna over on Twitter as well, at AnnaFail.
Yep, at AnnaFail.
You can go follow her there. And of course, I gotta try to get you to stream more on Final Boss when you have some time, when beta stuff happens.
Yep, when beta stuff happens. When the raids are open for testing, I will 100% be streaming those.
Yeah. And then of course, there's me. My social stuff is on BayTLM over on Twitch. Or, of course, you can find out everything about FinalBossTV at FinalBoss.tv. All of our social media is right down below. Our YouTube, where we have all of our previous episodes, our additional content, and our Facebook and our Twitter. So we'll see you there again. There is no proper show next week on the 13th. We're doing setup and things for the week after. July 20th is round number 3 and 4 of Trivial Pursuit with Alex and Laws of Fat Boss, Brutal from Static, Silver Latomi, Nobble the Noble, Elbine the Gold Baking Mage, and of course Anna and myself. And if you've missed the rounds 1 and 2 of Trivial Pursuit, they're on our YouTube. So again, until next week, guys, or the week after, there'll be live streams, of course, that I'll see you guys there. But until then, see you guys for the 20th. Get hyped for Trivial Pursuit. And again, we'll see you guys later. Have fun at work. Trust in the coin. And good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.